Hey guys, welcome back. We have a weekend energy update to get into. This weekend is probably one of the best weekends you'll ever get for getting some things done, being productive, especially when it comes to things having to do with the home, housework, home renovations, downsizing, minimalizing, getting rid of some things, cleansing, purifying. This is really where a lot of the energy is geared and oriented this weekend. I do think a lot of people could just be working overtime on some things this weekend as well. We have an energy that is wholeheartedly supporting us in accomplishing something of significance, goal, task, job. Like, we're here for it, and that is, I think, kind of the motivation this weekend. Couple different reasons. Number one, we have the sun building into a conjunction with Saturn. That has the impact of kind of making us focus on the task at hand, duties, responsibilities, jobs. That's what we are oriented around when we have a Sun-Saturn conjunction going on. And this is actually being exactly trined by Mars in Cancer Friday into Saturday especially. Mars is our energy. So the trine aspect supports things. That's telling us that our energy is very, very much so being channeled into whatever job, task, duty, responsibility is our primary focus this weekend. And then, just to take it up a notch, the moon also happens to be transiting the sign of Cancer this weekend, which means the moon will also come into a conjunction with Mars, our energy, in the trine to the sun, in the conjunction to Saturn. So even on an emotional level, we are very, very oriented around getting the job done. There could maybe be a little bit of fireworks going on this weekend if we feel like people have been interrupting us one too many times, annoyances, interference. Probably not going to have all that much patience for it with the moon and Mars coming into the conjunction together. But overall, you guys, very, very good weekend for spring cleaning, fixing things, and organization, stuff like that as well. Quite supported. Sunday is actually a very spiritual day though. The moon in Cancer, as it continues to transit Cancer, will come into a trine with the Neptune in North Node in the sign of Pisces. But altogether, you guys, we do have a lot going on this weekend. Probably a very busy weekend. Probably a lot getting done this weekend, as it should be, because that is what this energy is for. So let's get into the report, you guys. Let's put all this together, see in some more detail where we're at on Friday and what things are looking like for us as we prepare to head into next week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, March 7th, 2025. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. In this video, we are going to take a good look at everything we've got going on out there in our lovely energy field this weekend and how things are setting themselves up for us heading into next week. So let's just do that. As I mentioned in my intro, I do think this weekend is very much so going to be oriented around what we're trying to get done. People are going to be getting down to business in a way that they are not really wanting to deal with any distractions. There could actually be some like short tempers and perhaps even some anger that is motivating the work ethic that seems to be going on in terms of output, energetic output this weekend. But this weekend and also moving into next week, there is just this, I would say really this weekend, actually all the way through next weekend, there is just this focus on what needs to be done, what needs to be accomplished. There could be like projects that are beginning in the energy of Friday or Saturday that actually end up taking the whole week to complete, or that are sort of our focus throughout the course of the week. But really, honestly, I feel like kind of any way you slice this chart, it all comes back to some type of motivation to accomplish something, to get something done. Now, this could be something that is, you know, we're personally oriented around. Like, it could be something that we are personally motivated to accomplish for one reason or another, or it could legitimately be like an order coming down from above, like needing to work overtime for some reason, or just having like a mountain of work presented to you on Friday that maybe takes all weekend and into the next week as well. But there's something about a job that needs to be done. Okay, but we have the energy to do it. And that's another reason why I was kind of saying in my intro, like if you've been procrastinating on something, if you've been putting something off, if there's something that you don't want to do, especially if it's some type of like chore or, you know, cleaning, this housework project, like anything like that, this would be the weekend to do it. With the Mars trine, the Sun and Saturn energy, we're just gonna have more energy that is literally specifically geared, oriented, and like actually for getting things done, hard work done. Saturn is discipline, duty, responsibility. There's also a much greater sense of self-discipline and self-control going on generally when we have a Mars-Saturn trine. Even in these water signs, this is a very emotional weekend, okay? You could find, again, like maybe there's some very powerful emotions that are really motivating you to make some progress, get something done, cross something off a list, I don't know, build, complete, produce something. Very, very emotional weekend, but we also have this like emotional resiliency. We have this like endurance, persistence, motivation, drive, courage, assertiveness, fervor, okay, that is coming through. And it is in this more just refined, disciplined, mature, responsible way. So I don't think that people, it's probably not going to be a real social weekend. I don't think people are going to be out there really like looking for small talk and to just do like frivolous things. I think that a lot of people are going to, for whatever reason, just feel very motivated to get a bunch of stuff done and not wanting to break focus from the task at hand. This could also have to do with something that I'm going to mention now, and then I'll circle back around and talk more about at the end of the report, like maybe conversations or conflicts in the context of relationships, relationship issues, maybe people from the past, old relationships. It's interesting because we've got this emphasis on the Mars energy this weekend, right? Mars is actually in a direct exact trine to the Sun on Friday. The Sun is coming into a conjunction with Saturn, which is really adding this work-oriented attitude to things. Mars is fueling that with the trine. But Mars rules the sign of Aries, you guys, and right now we've got some interesting energy in Aries. We have Venus retrograding through Aries, and we have Mercury moving through Aries directly, about to come into a conjunction with Venus in the sign of Aries. And this is interesting to me. I say that this is interesting. I mean, Mercury and Venus come into a conjunction regularly, but Mercury and Venus are kind of having like this interesting synastry over the month of March. They are both retrograding essentially like the same degree ranges while they're coming into conjunctions with one another. And Venus retrograde, this is about, well, people from the past, old relationships, but also really, really, really reconsidering what we want, what we value, what our preferences are, what we're attracted to, and kind of like what we want to pursue. Mercury, this is the mind, what we're thinking about, what we're talking about, who we're talking to, the messages that are coming through. So there could be something that goes on in and around maybe this weekend or over this next couple of days and weeks as well, which is putting an emphasis perhaps on some type of old relationship dynamic or people from the past, or thinking or talking, or just like emphasizing mentally somehow changing preferences that are going on, relationship changes that are going on. And in some way, because these two planets are in the sign of Aries and Mars is the ruler of Aries, and Mars has got all this going on with the Sun and Saturn and the Moon this weekend. Of course, you guys, if you follow my channel, you know how I have this like ongoing joke with the moon, or it's actually kind of like an ongoing joke with myself about the moon, where the moon just always happens to be in like the most synchronistically perfect placement in order so that it would enhance whatever activation is already kind of like going on out there. Like when I just generally find whenever there is some powerful alignment going on, the moon will be somewhere in that vicinity to activate that as well. And it's just funny to me because literally like the moon could be anywhere throughout the course of the month that the moon transits the entire zodiac, but it will, like, for example, now we have the Sun and Mars coming into an exact trine on Friday, and then on Saturday, when they're still in, you know, a very, 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 very tight trine together, the moon will also be in the sign of Cancer, exactly conjunct Mars, triggering and activating that Mars-Sun trine energy with Saturn there even more. So whereas it could have been intense enough firepower on its own, motivating us, energizing us towards whatever that duty, responsibility, job, task is, with the moon there, now there's this like additional emotional layer and component to things. Like, it's an emotional trigger as well. So just again, like the sun and the moon. And that's also a very harmonious energy, which is interesting because when the sun and the moon are in a square, of course, this can bring up internal conflict and stuff like that. But when the sun and the moon are in a trine in water signs too, this is a strong harmony of feeling going on within us. And with the Mars and the Saturn energy, I think it's a harmony from being like left alone to do what we need to do, and perhaps maybe being a little bit perturbed if that harmony is interrupted with the moon Mars conjunction as well, because the moon and Mars in a conjunction, like, that can tend to bring about just like internal irritation, anger. Like we might be a little bit snappy, we might not be the most like even keeled, gentle tempered. So my advice would be, if you notice that someone is just like really in the zone and focused on something and just like, you know, gung-ho towards like getting some type of job done throughout the course of this weekend, and maybe they're not in the best mood about it, I would maybe just like let them be and not ask if they need help and not really interfere with what they've got going on. This also is with the Saturn element of things. And also Mars, because Mars is a self, like this is a better energy for like working alone, working in isolation, like solitary, just not, it's not like group oriented, okay? So people could just be wanting to be left alone to do whatever it is they need to do. Okay, and again, let's talk about the reasons why. We've got the sun coming into a conjunction with Saturn this week in the sign of Pisces, the sun and Saturn. This is work time, not playtime energy. Even though Pisces is a sign that has a lot to do with like the inner child and the imagination and fantasy and play, the sun and Saturn there still, it's like, I just don't really have time to be messing around. And then we put the Mars energy in there that can bring up just this fervor, this assertiveness, this very like powerful motivation, especially with the moon there, this emotional drive to get this thing done. So we're all in, and again, I do recommend using this weekend to do something meaningful, to do something productive, to make progress somehow, like sorting and organizing and strategizing and planning. This can be a good weekend for that type of thing as well. And also, any type of creative work, any type of artistry, or even like spiritual work and stuff like that. As I've been saying, this time is made for the creatives, the artists, and the spiritualists. Art, music, writing, especially anything that's more like fiction or fantasy oriented. Absolute best of the best of the best, masterful works, literary works, like visual artistry and works, I don't know, all types of stuff along those lines being formed, manifested, brought into fruition in this energy. The divine inspiration is really kind of off the charts as well, and especially on Sunday, very, very, very supportive energy for any type of creative artistry, like beauty, like high heart, like that like resonates like to the high heart energy. Never a better time, okay, you guys? And I'm saying that because of this North Node Neptune conjunction in the sign of Pisces that I've been talking about over this past month. It's still there. Saturn and Mars in a trine. I say it all the time. That is master builder energy. Saturn's in the same sign, Pisces, with the Neptune North Node conjunction. There are amazing classics that are coming into fruition, that are almost like being channeled down and manifested in 3D in this energy right now. So you may be involved in some of that out there, but we do have that type of energy going on as well. Another thing with the Mars, Saturn, Sun vibe, this could also have to do with like engines or motors, like maybe boats or boating, stuff like that with all of this water. I would not be surprised if a lot of people are kind of like out there like getting their boat ready for the season and stuff this weekend. Housework though, home projects, Mars in the sign of Cancer, things to do with the home, the family, the local community, the spring cleaning organization. Oil and gas also could be a thing with all the Pisces energy, and activities on, in, or around water could be a primary focus somehow. Hot water, you guys, that is another thing. Like, think about it. Mars and the sun. The sun obviously is the big fireball, the life force energy that, you know, everything grows and reaches towards. It energizes all of life. And then Mars is literally like the fire planet, the red planet. It is the energy, represents energy itself. So we've got like the life force energy and the worldly energy, the physical energy, the active assertive force in this trine together, which is all about flow, facilitation, support, assistance. Like that is hot, 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 hot. Okay. The sun and Mars in a trine together. That is a lot of energy. That is a lot of firepower. That is really, really, really heating things up. And then we put it in these water signs. That's like boiling point. So like anything related to things boiling, also like steam, okay? Hot water, boiling point, boilers, heat from water, steam, engine, this, that, hydraulic, I don't know. All that type of stuff though could be relevant, just the way that, you know, this dynamic is setting itself up. So there's that. But taking things seriously, Saturn has a tendency to like sober things up, make things sort of just more somber and serious. The sun coming into the conjunction with Saturn, it actually happens on March 12th. That's when the exact alignment is. So really between, as I said, this weekend and for the full next week, it could just be a week of some very hard work. There could be some bars that you need to rise to. There could be some tests going on. This is a good week, I will say. You could get like make a positive impression on some type of authority figure, boss, like a higher up having to do with your career, noticing your efforts about something. Again, like hard work paying off and really staying focused on the task at hand could earn you some type of recognition or acknowledgement from people in a place of authority, especially pertaining to, again, like this work or this energy or this output that's going on. So that's, you know, maybe something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, endurance, like hard work, dead set again on accomplishing the task at hand and getting whatever needs to be done. People could be sort of very frustrated also. I would not be surprised if like it's not working out. You know what I mean? This is the type of energy where if we're working on something and like we hit like a snag or a roadblock or something's not working, I don't like, we're gonna, whoever is involved in that type of situation is probably going to very maybe angrily, but not give up. Like we're not going to give up. We're not going to stop working on whatever it is until we find the solution and can get the job done. Like this is energy that is going to see things through because of the Saturnian element. Like we're not going to give up if it gets hard or challenging. What's that? When the tough get going, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. That would be a phrase that would fit right into the alignment of this energy. So I would not be surprised if people are also experiencing like bouts of random, or like, I guess probably a better way to say it would be like random outbursts or bouts of rage pertaining to interference of any time. Again, it keeps coming back to this like annoyances, disruptions, like those being the things that are really like pushing our buttons and triggering us and like pushing us over the edge and causing like maybe some anger or emotional outbursts as we move through this energy. So yeah, there's that. Aggression, anger, hostility. Could also be bringing up perhaps depression. Anger turned inward manifests as depression. Mars in the sign of Cancer. This can definitely do it. Like it can definitely express itself in that regard. But you know, it's also really, really energizing us, obviously really, really firing us up. And what was I just looking at? And bringing in this passion as well. Very passionate energy, very driven energy, very assertive energy. Furiously, perhaps, with the Mars energy, one may say, trying to just get something done. Now, in terms of the Venus retrograde energy that is also playing into this, and the Pisces energy, okay? Pisces is a sign that has to do with coming to the end of something. Release, letting something go. It washes and cleanses things. It like breaks things down. It erodes. It dissipates. It like decompartmentalizes and it spreads things out and washes them away. In the context of also this Mars trine with the sun there, that's another reason why I'm saying like getting rid of things as part of this cleaning process, downsizing, minimalizing with Saturn there. Like you may just feel an urge to go through your closet and get rid of everything that you are not finding useful anymore. That's what Saturn and Mars also in the trine together can kind of motivate us to do as well sometimes, is to get rid of anything that is not useful and that is not contributing to this productivity that we are seeking and after. And then when we bring in the Venus retrograde element of things, this could have to do with like getting rid of not only what we don't find useful, but what we no longer value or see any worth in. Really good energy, you guys, for like doing a closet purge, old makeup or bags, jewelry, or also shoes. Pisces rules the feet. So if you got some, you know, old shoes laying around that you don't need anymore, this would be a very good time energetically, symbolically, to clean things up along those lines as well. But getting rid of what is just no longer holding a purpose to us somehow could be like just this spontaneous urge that a lot of people find themselves interfacing with throughout the course of the weekend. Literally washing things with water too, with this Cancer energy, and Mars and Saturn, like actually cleaning the floor, like doing a bunch of laundry, washing windows and stuff like that. That is what this energy is about. Best weekend ever for cleaning things up and letting go of what is not providing use and assisting us and like getting to where we want to get to next, and making personal changes as well. It's a time of great transition. Venus is retrograde. Mercury's coming into conjunction with Venus retrograde. That's going to be another one of our vibes coming in next week. We are going to be thinking about what we don't want, I think, anymore, and getting rid of it is great this weekend. Now, this could also have to do along that same sort of like career oriented regard that I've been talking about earlier, and like the authority figures and the bosses and all that. This could also have to do with like the downsizing or disassembling perhaps of organizations or certain like hierarchies, control dynamics that have been in place for long periods of time that are now at a transitional point as well. Again, saying this because of the Saturnian influence that would rule like big business, big organizations, conjunct the sun in Pisces, and in the trine to Mars, this could be some type of active breakdown or disjoining of those things. So there's also that dimensionality of like how this could play out pertaining to the greater overall organizational business hierarchy, control system structure, government also type of stuff along those lines with a Saturnian energy. This could also be much more literal though, in terms of like fierce storms, violent storms, those like cyclone bomb rain clouds or whatever, the just very heavy rain. This could also bring about some type of water damage or flooding, or again like the hot water themes. The thing is, like, the reason why I'm saying that is because this is a trine energy that we have going on with Mars and the sun in the sign of Pisces with Saturn. Of course, as I said, this also breaks things down. Saturn and Pisces, this could be like, this could also be water damage, things being worn away. With the Mars trine, Mars amplifies energy, and it can just make things more violent and intense. And all this water energy going on, it could bring about just some type of I don't know, like big storms or something that cause some type of water damage, or put an emphasis on water or a recovery effort. Again, a lot of like work into accomplishing a task, accomplishing a goal, having to do with water. Torrential downpours, you guys. And also don't forget, the moon happens to be in the sign of Cancer as well. The moon obviously rules the tides and like oceans and water. So there's that. And the moon and Mars, this could also indicate some type of heavy rainstorm. So I don't know, maybe have some caution around water this weekend. Again, the trine aspect, this just is like a free flow, okay? It's just Saturn over there. Saturn does limit, it does control things, but I don't know, in the sign of Pisces, like, it may not be functioning that way. But this is kind of just like an uncontained, with the trine energy, flow of this water energy. So that's why I'm saying there could be just a lot of water flowing somehow, some way, and it could have some element of Mars heat or Saturn, Pisces breakdown, I don't know, having to do with it. Again, lastly, relationships, as I mentioned earlier, with all this Venus retrograde energy, people from the past, maybe old relationships on our mind coming back, starting now, maybe playing into all this somehow, maybe some old work colleague or something, I don't know, some old relationship, something that we're letting go of. This could also be relationship changes underway right now. This energy, like, it is going to bring breakdowns in relationships, especially relationships that are anyway stifling to our growth or causing us to live or be or exist or function in some type of way that is like unauthentic to the relationship with ourselves that we are cultivating right now and like who we're discovering ourselves to be. If the relationships in our lives are not supporting our personal growth and are diminishing our ability to become more of who we're truly meant to be, then they are not going to make it very much further through this Pluto Aquarius transit. Okay, we'll put it that way. And a lot could be under consideration in those regards now and over the course of really this entire month of March. Now I want to move on and talk about the energy of Sunday for a minute. Energy Sunday is a bit different than Friday and Saturday, of course, as I've gone on and on about. Friday and Saturday are just very duty, responsibility, work, task at hand, getting the job done oriented. Sunday, this does shift slightly. That is because of the moon coming into the trine with the Neptune North Node conjunction that is happening in the sign of Pisces. This is really, you know, we might still very much so be engaged in whatever it is that we're working on, but it is bringing this additional level of spirituality somehow, or even creativity or inspiration or dreaminess, or I don't know, divine alignment or synchronicity or something like that to whatever it is that may have been going on throughout the course of the weekend. Very, very spiritually focused energy with a Cancer moon trining North Node Neptune. It's conjunct in Pisces. This is also very, very psychic. So if you're into like meditation or prayer or spiritual work, communing with the divine, you know, connecting to your higher self, anything like that, you are going to find, I think, the boundary between the realms, so to say, as much less of a barrier on Sunday. So the other way of saying that is it is just a very powerful spiritual energy, and we're going to be able to connect to it and tune into it just as easily probably as anything else. The sixth sense, your intuition, just feeling in alignment perhaps with the divine, or feeling like you are in some type of divine alignment is a vibe, okay, on Sunday. Maybe very internally moved or touched or inspired by like the spirit or the hand of God, universe, higher power, somehow. Very open line of communication for sure with the universe on Sunday. And I'm gonna tell you guys the symbolism that we have as we begin the weekend as well in just a minute here, but there are a lot of symbols coming through that are indicating this very same thing. In fact, we actually have the position of the Earth on Friday at 18 degrees of Virgo, two girls playing within a Ouija board, and we have the moon in Cancer, this very, very already intuitive, deeply connected energy, forming a trine to Neptune and the North Node. Spiritual growth, total openness between your total just like line of connection coming through between our earth consciousness and like our spiritual consciousness, okay? And the trine energy, as I said, this is facilitating things. This is coming through also this water energy, very feeling based, very intuitive, very internal, very emotional, very moving, just flowing through us, okay? And also with the Saturn element of things, it's like spiritually moralistic almost, or this dedication or maturity in the context of the spiritual energy coming through as well. I do think it'll probably be bringing out the best in people, to be honest, on Sunday. This is a very, very like charitable, like philanthropic, charity work, like kind of like compassion, empathy, like wanting to serve the greater good energy. It could for some reason just be this very spiritually oriented day or charitably oriented day. People are going to be, I think, in a bit of a giving mood really all weekend, because this energy, as I said, like it does inspire us to like get rid of things and downsize. You know, maybe you spend all weekend purging out everything that you no longer need or want, and then you're like going to donate it all to charity or something on Sunday. Like that is the type of way that this energy could be functioning on its like most basic mundane level. Okay. On the other hand, though, Pisces is a very dualistic sign. When we see a strong tendency towards one direction of things, one octave, there is a strong likelihood that there is a similarly strong tendency or pulled kind of in the contrasting oppositional, like total opposite direction. So while on one hand, there could be a lot of people like working to help, working to serve, working to bring things together and make something happen, right? Get the job done. On the other hand, the Pisces energy, again, is breaking things down, letting things go. Perhaps this could even be like breaking down barriers or breaking down limitations that have been in place for a long period of time for some reason. This could also be bringing about questions, of course, in terms of fantasy and fact, truth and illusion, what is real and what is not. There could be a very strange energy, otherworldly energy. Again, as I keep saying, we've got like this word otherworldly seems very in alignment with just the general vibe throughout the month of March. So questioning what's real could be a dimension of the energy on Sunday as well, when we do have this very, very powerful spiritual vibe coming through. So that's really what I think we have going on for the most part throughout the course of the weekend. I want to mention a couple of these additional Sabian symbols, because I feel like they are so on par with just everything that we've got going on in terms of the aspects and transits at this point in time. First of all, I told you guys the position of the Earth on Friday at 18 Virgo, two girls playing with an Ouija board. We also have the Sun at 18 degrees of Pisces in the trine to Mars, who's at 18 Cancer. That Sabian symbol is in a gigantic tent. A famous revivalist conducts his meeting with a spectacular performance, which is obviously like a spiritual revivalist. This could not be more emblematic of Mars and the moon in Cancer, trining this Sun and Saturn in a conjunction in Pisces. I mean, Saturn is even like about the past, or like some type of spiritual revival perhaps, or like breaking down of tradition, and the we're going through with the North Node Neptune, like a phase of kind of collective spiritual growth, spiritual revival, this like impassioned performance with the Mars energy coming from the sign of Cancer, and this very spiritual nature to the energy right now. Like that symbol right there in a gigantic tent, a famous revivalist conducts his meeting with a spectacular performance. You can take that one to the bank. Like that's the total vibe of the way that this energy is coming through right now, or at least one specific octave that could be manifested that would be very, very reflective of the way that this energetic setup is playing itself out. And we also have, interestingly enough, the position of Saturn right now at 22 degrees of Pisces, a prophet bringing down the new law from Sinai, which is also like this same thing, this fated process of spiritual growth, spiritual expansion, Neptune and the North Node, the spiritual revivalist, right? While we've got the moon transiting through Cancer, trining Neptune and the North Node this weekend, and then the two girls playing with an Ouija board, the direct line of communication to a higher power, to the divine. It's almost that like ask and you shall receive type of energy, to be honest, at least in terms perhaps of guidance. Like if you're struggling with something, if you're struggling to make a decision, like talk, communicate, write, whatever way you interact with a higher power, the divine, do it if you need to this weekend, because I'm telling you, like, messages are being conveyed in that regard. The line of communication is open, and there's a good chance that if you ask for a sign, if you ask for some directions, if you ask for information, there's a good chance that in some synchronistic or miraculous or seemingly coincidental way, you will find yourself receiving exactly the insight that it was that you were seeking. Okay, we also have Mars at 18 degrees of Cancer, a hen scratching for her chicks, bringing in this really strong Cancer energy. Like that energy is very emblematic of the Cancer vibe, and this home, family, caretaker, protector, defender, nurturing, like providing the sustenance necessary to grow in a secure, protected, abundant environment, which could be something, again, like this housework, like maybe, I don't know, Mars in the sign of Cancer. This could be things to do with home, family, community, doing work to provide some type of better environment for the growing to take place and to happen, getting rid of things that are not useful anymore, maybe so that we can bring in more abundance for our new priorities with this Venus retrograde energy as well. And lastly, we have Jupiter at 13 degrees of Gemini right now. That Sabian symbol is a world famous pianist giving a concert performance. Another vibe that is playing itself right into this, like, master builder, master creator, divinely inspired, fantastic, magnificent works of art that become the new classics type of energy, that is also being indicated by that North Node Neptune conjunction in the sign of Pisces, and also this Mars Saturn trine in water signs, giving us the focus, the work ethic, the endurance, the precision. This is like laser sharp, refined precision to, like, do things to their most, like, perfect capacity. Okay, we're not only doing the job well when we've got Mars and Saturn in a trine, but we are doing the job to the best of our ability in the way, like, we're putting in the effort, we're focusing on the details. Like, this is not sloppy work. Okay, this is like I's dotted and T's crossed and all the punctuation in place and every last detail accounted for type of focused effort, enduring, persistent, motivated work. And with Jupiter at that famous pianist degree, I feel like that is also really kind of reminding us of the way that some of this energy could be working together. So if you have an artistic or a creative or a spiritual thing that is who you are or what you do, you're probably loving the energy of this weekend. And even, you know, if that's not the thing, it is probably going to end up having been a weekend where you got some things done that you really wanted to do, and ultimately you feel good about it for one reason or another. So you guys, that's what I have to say about the energy that is coming together for us this weekend. I am going to get a synchronicity card for us now, ask for one final piece of guidance or advice from God, Spirit, Universe. What should we keep in mind? What else should we tell ourselves? What do we need to know? What will benefit us to remind ourselves of as we move through the weekend? What is, this card is sticking out, so I just know that this is the card that we're supposed to get. It says, go within for peace, which, there it is, you guys. We are being sort of like the crab this weekend and all this Cancer energy. And if you're needing to find the peace, maybe this is a good weekend to be a bit more in the shell. Like I was saying, that Saturn energy does isolate us. Like, it does make us not so group oriented in terms of, as I said earlier, you know, the sun trining the moon, where our harmony and peace are coming from, probably more internal than external throughout the course of the weekend. And that is what our message says. Go within for peace. Pursue peace with all people and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. Hebrews 12:14. When discord or disharmony is raging around you, go within yourself and be thankful for the grace of God within you. Say thank you for restoring peace to my life. Smile, bless all, and continue to your goal. So that may be like a bit perhaps of our antidote if we're dealing with some of the tension or frustration or irritation. that's coming up this weekend by just other people's issues or the way that things are interfering with our goals or progress. But it's literally saying go within for peace, say and be thankful for the grace of God within you, and then continue to your goal. So very goal-oriented weekend, and we are our own little happy place, I feel like, as we are working towards whatever needs to be done. So that's what I have to say, you guys. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they also would enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I'm so super grateful for your presence on my channel. When you let me know what's going on with you out there, if you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about, I really appreciate that. It's very valuable information to me. Thank you guys again so much for just your presence here. And if you've got any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of these boards that is linked in my description box below. So that's where you can find those if you are into it. And come back with me, you guys. Next week, we have a new week of energy that we are going to be getting into. Highlights of our energy next week are going to be the Sun-Saturn conjunction that we've got going on. Probably going to be a pretty serious week of getting some things done, but we also have this Venus retrograde Mercury conjunction that's going to be going on as well. Be some interesting conversations with some people going on throughout the course of the week. So I'll be back to talk about it, you guys. You don't want to miss it. Come back with me on Monday. And until then, have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you then, and bye.